All right, hey everybody, Dodo with our first edition of the Ball Boyz La Liga Matchday 18. Say hi to everybody, Sebas.
Hello, everybody. This is Sebas. Breaker.
All right, so let's start off with the Madrid-Sevilla match, highlight of the weekend. So, Madrid and Sevilla came off their Copa del Rey match. Sevilla had tied them 3-3 at home, and they tied them 3-3 at home. Losing in the last few minutes, they gave up a couple goals, ended up tying, which knocked them out of the cup. So this was the rematch of that over the weekend. Madrid ended up getting a taste of their own medicine when Sevilla scored 2 late goals on them and turned it around. They beat them at home.
They got a taste of that Sergio Ramos medicine.
Actually, yes. Except, who was it? Jovetic that scored?
Yeah, Jovetic scored the final goal. Golazo outside the box. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I mean, it was a very friction game, I'd say. Real Madrid didn't really have a lot of chances. Like, they let Sevilla kind of dominate, have the ball, even though their goals came pretty late.
Playing away from home and the tight schedule they have right now, playing Sevilla 3 times must have cost them eventually, because although they did win the first match, they tied the second match, and now here they are losing the third match. Could that be because of the inconsistency that Real Madrid's forwards have? Because Benzema ultimately ended up giving away the lead. With the throw-in to Benzema gave up the ball. Didn't see much risk in that, and that ended up being the game winner for Sevilla. So, what caused Real Madrid to let the lead slip?
I mean, that happens. It happens a lot, actually. Just players lose focus for a little bit. It could be a cause of just being tired mentally. Also, they might be pretty confident. They not only beat Sevilla 3-0 the first leg, but on the return leg, they actually came back late and secured the draw. I think they were down about 3-1 or so. So I'm sure they were very confident. They didn't expect, you don't expect Jovetic to bury it from that far. So it was a little unlucky. It was a little bit of magic from Jovetic.
Navas actually got a glove to it, so
yeah,
kind of adds a little bit credibility to Jovetic. Not playing in Inter as much as he'd like to. Came to Sevilla and he became a little bit of a gem.
Immediate impact sub. He's always been a great player since Fiorentina. He was also really good. I thought he was good at Man City, not really given as many chances, but he's definitely a class player.
And Sevilla turning around ex-Premier League players. Also Nasri getting a few minutes that he didn't get in Man City. So now that the winning streak is gone, are Madrid's chances of winning La Liga lower? They seemed like sure contenders until, of course, losing to Sevilla. They still have 1 game left, 1 game because of the Club World Cup. They have to visit Valencia in the Mestalla, but are their chances any lower, or do they still have a strong lead with a 4-point potential cushion between them and Sevilla?
I mean, we're talking about a team that went 40 games unbeaten. Not only that, but we're talking about a team that should have given up a lot more points, definitely. A team that started off the season not really playing well, but scrappy goals, scrappy wins, scrappy late goals to get the ties. Something Barcelona and Atletico Madrid have been struggling with. And if they keep it up, then, I mean, they don't got to play pretty, but they get those wins. And at the end, that's what could win them the league if they get it.
Now, Sevilla, they're in second place. A lot of people expected a 3-horse race, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico. But here, Sevilla is ahead of Barcelona, ahead of Madrid. What's the reason behind that? Could it be the coach change, players added in, the 3 Europa League titles giving them some hope, or what could that be?
Well, Sevilla has always been a great squad. You know, they've won a lot of titles in recent years, especially at the European level, I guess. Recently beat Clubs Liverpool in the last final. You know, they're a team would always have had great players. We go back, we remember Canute, Luis Fabiano, Seydou Keita, Rakitic came from them. They've got a great sporting director. They always get great players. And Unai Emery left behind a really good project with the players. And I think they got a better coach in Sampaoli. A great coach. One of those coaches who's not afraid to take it to them, to the big teams. So, plus, if we look at the other coaches, like, I'm not a fan of Zidane. 40 games unbeaten or whatever, but the way he struggles in those games, really, we're talking against Sporting, against Las Palmas. So albeit they're good teams, but they're not teams Real Madrid should really be struggling against. They have lacking Gareth Bale is a big blow, but it says a lot to his coaching that he's still struggling with players like Cruz and Modric who've been playing together like 3 seasons. Also, Luis Enrique's struggling, so actually Simeone is struggling too. Like, it really shows that a great coach can really make a difference compared to what we could just consider good coaches.
Well, Zidane's been questioned a lot for his methods, his tacticals, his lineups. He has still not been playing James as much as a lot of Real Madrid fans would like him to play. But he's been getting the results. So could it be that he's just a genius and we're not giving him credit for? Or could it just be that he's really been getting lucky?
I don't think so. I think he's a bit of another Ancelotti. Recent years, just a lot of luck. I think he's a great man manager. Aside from, I don't even know what he's doing with James. I feel like he's just like messing with him a lot. But aside from that, he's a good man manager. He's keeping Ronaldo happy, Sergio Ramos, Gareth Bale, even the subs. Isco's getting playing time, Lucas Vazquez, Asensio. So he's really good at getting the best out of his players at least. Well, I don't think he's that good tactically. But while we're talking about James, I mean, James is a great impact sub. He's an incredible player. We're talking about one of the last number 10s in modern football, you know. When he's outside the penalty box, he has an incredible accuracy. Left foot, even his right foot, just great placement, getting the ball to the lower corners, great technical ability, and a great eye for to find the spots for a pass. So,
but should he be a sub player? Because
he definitely should.
His last game with Madrid, although it was a cup match, he did start in that cup match they had. I forget against which team, but he did score 2 games, became man of the match, subbed out. Bernabeu gave him a big round of applause, which shows that Real Madrid fans do like him, although they question his methods, I guess, or what could that be? His relationship with the fans at Madrid.
Well, I'm sure they like him. He's made a couple of waves recently in the media because he's obviously not happy with his situation. There's been a lot of speculation. But he's never completely expressed, he's always expressed that he loves Real Madrid, that he wants to stay there, that it's his dream to play there. The fans obviously know he's not playing because he doesn't fit into the system. And he should, unless he wants to be a sub, which is the only position I see for him, he could play right wing, but Gareth Bale is obviously way better there. And you can't keep playing him cam with 2 center mids because you're just going to get exposed. The game has transitioned from that, and Real Madrid, with their already 3 forwards, adding another player offensively is just going to create an imbalance, and I don't think they can go back to. So he should definitely look for a way out. Maybe Juventus. Definitely, he could definitely start at any other club, most likely.
You don't think that him playing in the cam position, the false 9, the center attacking mid, that Cruz, Modric, or Casemiro, whoever's playing at the time, can pick up the slack?
I think it could, but I just don't see it happening. If he's been played 2 positions, really, cam and right wing, I think it's safe to say those are really the only positions for him. Otherwise, I'm sure he would be getting played at center mid, but especially with Casemiro behind you, it's really surprising he's not played at center mid, and I guess it might say a lot about his work ethic compared to someone like Isco. When Isco plays center mid, he's up and down the whole game. And James just doesn't excel there, and he should go to a team where he can excel.
Now Sevilla has been making waves this whole season. They've finally got out of the Champions League group stage, a tough group. They're going up against Leicester City. Yes, Leicester City in the round of 16 for the Champions League. But people still don't consider them a main contender for the La Liga. Can they win La Liga this season, or is it too far-fetched? Real Madrid, Barcelona are going to come back. One of them is going to win the title. Or can Sevilla actually pull off a Leicester and win the league?
Well, they've obviously got a way better squad than Leicester had. A better coach than what we thought Ranieri was also. Can they win it? We're talking about one of those perfect seasons. Like I mentioned earlier, Real Madrid just scrappy wins all around. They're a team that hasn't won. That's won La Liga in the last 5 years or something. I don't remember completely.
It's almost been 10. So
almost 10? Wow.
Almost 10 years.
So they're definitely, not going to try to let it slip again. And so Sevilla's going to have to play almost perfect. Can they do it? They're out of the Copa del Rey. I like their chances to make it past Leicester. It's really up to them. I'd say they have a kind of deep squad. They have some good players on the bench. So it's really up to.
And they have lost a few key players in the couple seasons. The likes of Kondogbia, Baca have left Sevilla, Gameiro have left, and they're still doesn't really look like they're missing them much, does it?
Like I said, they have a great sporting director. Even Coque left. They have what I think is a great right back in Mariano. They have Nasri, who's an incredible player. We don't know if he'll stay after this season, but as far as this season goes, he's going to be really important in their chase for the title. And we can at least say that they're probably a Champions League guarantee, unless Villarreal really make a late push for it or Sevilla stumbles. I think they're definitely gonna fight it out for the rest of the season. I see definitely Real Madrid and Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. I just see them slipping too. So I think it's gonna get muddy like last season, where Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico were just 1 point away for like the last 3 games.
No, Barcelona had run away with the title. Everyone had considered Zidane when he came in. He had forfeited the title, the league title. Said that there was no way they were going to focus on the Champions League because the Liga was gone. And here Barcelona slipped. They slipped
like 10 points,
almost 10 points. Lost at home to Valencia. They lost away to Sociedad, if I'm not mistaken. They also dropped a few points here and there.
I could see it being a photo finish again. I could see it being really close at the end between all 4 teams, really. Atletico, obviously, they have to improve a little more. I trust Simeone can do that.
We'll end that there.
Chelsea guys.
All right, now Barcelona, 5-0 routing of Las Palmas. Any thoughts on this game?
Must win. Every game's a must win when you're 5 points back. I think they put on a good performance. Las Palmas is not really one of those ultra defensive teams. But they have taken points from Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid. So it was definitely a great win for Barcelona and a great win to help players get their confidence back.
Las Palmas has been they've been a good team, but an inconsistent team. They've had with this loss, it's now 6 wins, 6 losses, and 6 draws. So definitely a game Barcelona had to win. But the key detail of this match, Iniesta and Neymar on the bench, was that magic or madness from Luis Enrique?
I think that was a great coaching decision by Luis Enrique. These guys aren't made of steel. They can't play every game. Neymar especially, well, all 3 of them really, the trident. But players should definitely be getting more rest. Same with Sergio Roberto. Alex Vidal, he's a good player. He could definitely have played a lot more games than he has so far. And I think benching the players is good, more rest.
But the thing about that is that he decided to bench Neymar out of the 3. Could that be because he decided to give Neymar a break, or because he thought Arda might have been a better option than Neymar that game?
I'll tell you why. It's because Arda's got the best replacement, my bad. Neymar's got the best replacement, which is Arda, who's come clutch for Barcelona a couple times this season. And compared to what would probably be Paco Alcácer and Rafinha, which Rafinha is a great player too. I think Arda's the best option. He's got a great understanding with Messi, a great understanding with Suarez, and I think it just made sense.
So everyone from the top got a goal. Suarez bagged 2, Messi bagged 1. They're both joint top scorers of the league this season. Arda, every time he starts, seems to do a pretty good performance. Could this possibly be an indication that Arda should start over Neymar going forward? That's probably not going to happen because we know they're untouchable up there. But should it happen? Should it legitimately be considered as a potential threat to Neymar's starting position?
I don't think that will ever happen because if you were to bench a player of Neymar's quality consistently, he's just not going to stay at the club. He already has to give a lot of the limelight to Messi. He's got to share it with Suarez also. So being on the bench, with his marketing and everything, he would definitely look for a way out. Plus, he's a great player. He hasn't been scoring, but he's an incredible player. Really just needs to find his form, and he needs to do it fast because Barcelona really needs him.
But Barcelona is no stranger to benching top players. They have benched Zlatan in the past coming in. Ter Stegen was benched to Bravo, who's now in a slump. Other players have been benched for lesser-known players from Barcelona. It might be just a Guardiola factor, but it has happened in the past before. Could it happen again? Or should it happen again is a better question.
But if you remember, Lucho already tried this once, which is kind of what set off, kind of sparked Barcelona's treble-winning season when Luis Enrique benched Messi and Anoeta. They lost that game badly. They ended up...
Almost lost his job because of that, actually.
They ended up turning the season around after that. And that's why he won't repeat it. He knows what Neymar can do. He knows he's not scoring, but he's still putting on great performances. And Arda's definitely a player who's content with being a bench player. So I think the best thing for Luis Enrique is to have that option on the bench, to have that option to rest Neymar, and I think he should make better use of it.
All right, going on to Atletico. 1-0 against Betis. So Atletico continues to struggle, barely winning. Nico Gaitan on the 8th minute.
Really no surprise.
Honestly, it's a trademark of El Cholo. Of course he's going to win however he has to. Doesn't care about the results, doesn't care if it's pretty, doesn't care if it's ugly. He just needs the points. Especially with the little slump they had in the past when they were dropping points to lower teams they shouldn't be dropping points to. They are 6 points off the top right now. Has Sevilla passed Atletico in the 3rd spot for Spain, or is Atletico still a serious contender?
I think Atletico can still be a contender, but I think right now Sevilla just has everything's going in their favor, really. And when things are going so well, I think they're a lot more motivated than Atletico Madrid. They don't have that baggage. They weren't really expected to be this good. And if their season just went to, if it went bad from here and they finished 5th or 6th, it wouldn't be that bad of a disappointment. I think people would look forward to next season. Whereas Atletico Madrid, they've consistently been fighting up top. They know that if they start slipping, they could go back to being that team that only fought for 4th place. They've been fighting for the Champions League, so they're really a team that needs to stay up there, needs to make players believe that they can be competitive, that they can win titles.
But would their fans be content with being that 4th place again, with being the team that barely makes it to the Champions League, that fringe team that could miss out on Europe, that could miss out on Europa League even? Because over the past couple years, they've reached the top. They have won La Liga. They know that they can beat Madrid. They know they can beat Barcelona. They've made it to the final of the Champions League twice now, losing to Madrid on penalties and losing in extra time before that, both to Madrid. So could that be an indicator that Atletico will just never reach the top? Or should it be an indicator that Atletico has to keep working to try to get there despite their little slump they're hitting? Or should they just be content with being the 4th place team again?
I feel like there's definitely a lot of people that think that way. Atletico Madrid making 2 finals, not winning them. It reminds you a little bit of what's going on with Argentina. Keep making finals, keep losing. Makes you think that they're just not, maybe don't have that clutch gene, not built for it. Even though Atletico Madrid was, a few minutes away from winning the first one. Came down to penalties on the second one. It's definitely got to be in the back of players' minds. I don't think they'll be happy with it. The players definitely won't be happy with it. You're not going to keep around a Griezmann fighting for 4th place. A player who says he wants to stay, says he wants to keep competing for league titles and Champions League. You're just not going to keep that kind of player around staying at 4th place. I don't think Simeone is going to stick around fighting for 4th place because that's kind of an indication that things are just aren't going well when Atletico Madrid has been fighting for the top 3 places, performing better than Real Madrid in the league, performing better than Sevilla. For them to drop to 4th place, I think for Simeone, it would really mean that his players just aren't buying into it anymore.
Now, there's a good chance they could miss out on Champions League this year if they don't pick up their slack. Sociedad's 2 points behind. Villarreal's 3 points behind. Bilbao even still has a chance, 6 points behind Atletico. Could one of those teams potentially be the one that knocks off Atletico from the top 3 spot, the top 4 spot even?
They could. I mean, people say that La Liga is not as competitive or as tight as the Premier League per se, but definitely once you get past the 2nd place, it's really competitive. and you never know what team's going to pop up. As you see, Celta's right there too with 27 points. They play some great games, make it tough for the big rivals.
Eibar even.
Yeah.
26, 1 point
Yeah,
off.
you never know what team's going to have just a great season. So yeah, Athletic Club and Villarreal, two teams that know what they're doing, two teams that don't let a lot of points go at home, and they could make it very hard for Atletico Madrid to get that fourth spot, if that's what.
Now, a team that has historically been in that fourth spot, Valencia, they've been a little bit of a mess this season. Over the past few seasons, actually, there's nothing new to Valencia. They're a team that knows what Champions League is. They're a team that knows what contending for La Liga is. But they are currently in 17th place, 16 points out of 17 games. That is a little bit of a disaster for them. This weekend, finally winning against Espanyol 2-1 at home. They have Real Madrid to look forward to with their one game that got taken away because of the Club World Cup. Valencia, do you see them turning this season around, or could they possibly be a threat for relegation?
Man, there's definitely a relegation threat. Being I think one spot removed from relegation. It's just terrible ownership what Lima's done with the team. I'm talking about a team that has made great purchases in the past. With David Silva, Mata, Joaquin, David Villa all going through the club. And recently, they had Andre Gomez, Paco Alcácer.
Alcácer, yeah.
Alcácer. They recently bought Nani, who I think is underperforming. They've got just,
They have a few players being scouted at Barcelona as well, with Cancelo on the back.
Yeah. I mean, they've like last season, they had a pretty good team. This season, they brought in Garay and Mangala. But you can't just sell two players like Paco and Andre Gomez, I mean, the message that sends to the squad, it lets you know you're probably not going to fight for Europe when you sell two players that are just so important to the team. Sold Otamendi before that. I'm pretty sure he wanted to leave also. Whether they can win, they have the players for it. Hopefully this coach can get him back on track, Bodo. I think they're going to put up a fight against Real Madrid. Playing Real Madrid is always a motivation for players. I know Valencia feels that Real Madrid is going to go in there and try to score a lot of goals on them. So I think Valencia's going to be motivated. They're going to put up a fight, and I think they can get some points from that.
Other results this weekend: Celta beat Alaves 1-0. Leganés tied 0-0 to Bilbao. Depor and Villarreal a 0-0 draw. A couple draws here and there. Sporting losing at home to Eibar. Sporting, another relegation-prone team at the bottom of the table, 18th place. They've lost the likes of Halilovic, haven't been able to get it together since. Osasuna.
They let go of their coach recently too.
Also lost their coach. Osasuna and Granada involved in a relegation battle, 1-1 draw. Doesn't benefit either team. Granada has been a disaster this season. The worst defense all tournament. They signed Ochoa with hopes of improving that. However, hasn't really been working out for him. Who do you see being relegated at the end of the season?
I think Granada is definitely a contender. I just don't think they'll turn it around with how bad their defense is. Osasuna also definitely, they've just lost so many points. Sporting Gijon, maybe they could pull out of that. They lost their coach. They would need an immediate impact coach to come in. Valencia has the assets to not be relegated. They still have some great players. And also, relegation for Valencia would be maybe the death of them, From what we've seen from the president of the club, I wouldn't be surprised if he just sold everybody if the club got relegated. And, Segunda is just a really tough place to be in.
You see the likes of Deportivo being relegated and never coming back from, or at least haven't come back yet. Because Deportivo when Deportivo was relegated, they were contenders for Europe. They were a fringe team. Some of them considered favorites to qualify to Europe. They had the undefeated streak going on in Riazor against Madrid. Now they're a relegation team. They've been in the Segunda. They've been in the Primera. They haven't been able to get it together. The same could happen to Valencia.
It could. I mean, if they go down, that definitely could happen. If you remember Villarreal, they went down, but they had some good ownership, kept some good players. made some good purchases. Managed the team really well, and they were able to get back into the first division, and then they were able to keep improving on that. Kept going higher and higher on the league table, and they're back where they were before they got relegated. Really, the first 6 spots. Another example would be Real Zaragoza, which was a great team in their prime. Back in the days when they had the Milito brothers, Diego and Gabriel Milito. They had Pablo Aymar. Had a lot of great players. Then they just had a really bad season. They got relegated. They
Haven't
came
been
back.
I
think they came back actually.
Did they come back?
Yeah, but I think they were relegated again. So, especially after being relegated, finding the stability to stay up can be really hard. Villarreal is a great example of how to do it. But then there's other teams like Real Betis who are up and down. There's Malaga who's always they had a great season. I remember a couple seasons ago, but recently
they made it to the quarterfinals, almost made it to the semifinals of the Champions League, losing out to Dortmund in a heartbreaker actually.
Yeah,
when they had Van Nistelrooy, Santi Cazorla, they had a bunch of great players. Nacho Monreal, who now plays in Arsenal. There's just those teams that have those great seasons and then just fade away. Malaga, also now a mid-table mediocrity.
But Malaga's team with a lot of heart. They put up some pretty good fights against Barcelona, and
they're always a threat when you have to visit them in Andalusia.
They're a good team, but again, there's just a lot of great. There's a lot of good teams in the Spanish mid-table, like Las Palmas, Espanyol, also a hard team. Sometimes lower on the table than this, but they're all very hard teams to face against.
Well, final positions. As we stand, Real Madrid are in first with 40 points. 1 game left to play against Valencia. However, they are 1 point ahead of second place Sevilla, 39 points. 1 point ahead of Barcelona, third place, with 38 points. Atletico Madrid sits in fourth with 34 points. 2 Europa League sides, Sociedad and Villarreal, sitting at 32 and 31 respectively. Next we have Bilbao, Celta Vigo, Eibar, Las Palmas, Espanyol, Deportivo Alaves, Málaga, Real Betis, Deportivo La Coruña, Leganés, Valencia, with 4 points out of the relegation zone. Of course, they still have that 1 game to play against Madrid. Hopefully that gives them a little bit of a cushion from the relegation zone. In the relegation zone, we have Sporting Gijón with 12 points, Granada with 10 points, and Osasuna with 9 points.
You look at this, 6 teams going to Europe, Madrid, Sevilla, Barcelona, Atletico, Sociedad, and Villarreal. And you see Bilbao and Celta Vigo just outside, and you think, those are 2 teams that could do great in Europe. Just a lot of great teams in Spain. Those top 8 could easily, those 5th through 8 could win the Europa League, and those top 4 could win the Champions League. Just a lot of competition. Such a shame they can't all make it there.
Well, with that, we conclude our first episode of The Ball Boyz. Join us next week. We're going to recap the 19th match day for La Liga. Until then, see you then.